Tonight, a look inside the classroom as Tri-State High School seniors plan to head to the polls for the first time next week.
WGEM's Dylan Smith is back from Keokuk High School in southeast Iowa. And Dylan, what are first-time voters saying there?
Well, the short answer is they're excited, but if you compare a late teen voter registration from 2018 to 2022, it's actually dropped nearly 10% in the Hawkeye State. A social studies teacher is encouraging his students to vote if they can. They now represent a dwindling number in Lee County.
So what is a political party? You gave examples of them, but what is it?
This year is social studies teacher Brandon Ramirez's second year at Keokuk High School.
I want you to make that choice because, I don't know, you can give any argument you want.
But his first with the presidential election.
It's your constitutional right. You do not have to vote, but I encourage it.
That's what he's telling his students. Not many of them turn 18 in time to cast a ballot next Tuesday, but Ramirez is using this time to help them prepare for when it is time.
Some of them might be not sure on what their political ideology is or their political party.
He's not telling them which way to lean, but instead giving them the tools to discover themselves. Just this morning, juniors and seniors took an online quiz asking about their beliefs, which ultimately guided them to which politicians they might align with.
I feel like it's a mix of everything, like everything just being thrown at us this year with people dropping out and the assassination attempt.
Hartley Hill turned 18 last month and says she's ready to make her voice heard.
I can represent my country and voice my opinion.
Christopher McKinney turns 18 on Election Day and was able to become a registered voter last week.
I would like to vote and see where my point stands on what I think, how I view the world.
Prey Lawson missed the cut by under 2 months. According to the Iowa Secretary of State, the number of active registered voters in Lee County has dropped since the 2016 presidential election by roughly 5,000 people. Ramirez says his classes are filled with students who like their voices to be heard.
A lot of my students are very outspoken, so that we create great classroom discussions based off of that.
And according to the Census Bureau, the population in Lee County has declined by about 3,000 residents since 2010. But even then, active voter numbers were nearly equal to that of 2018 and even the 2020 election. The principal tells me last week about 15 students at KHS registered to vote. Daniel.
All right, thank you, Dylan. And to look at your county's sample ballot, just head over to WGEM.com and click the Election 2024 tab.